Yeah. Go. 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 Hello, everyone. Hi out there, YouTube. My name is Isaac Thomas. I'm going to continue the story about how I went from being a 5-year-old kid in SLDs, which stands for Specific Learning Disabilities classes, in an elementary school, to being a college graduate at the University of Central Florida, about to start his first job soon at Verizon as a financial payroll analyst. Last time we left off, I told you about how my 8th grade experience ended with me deciding that I was going to change my life and I wasn't going to be this poor, pathetic, blind loser that everyone thought I was, you know. So as I got into high school, my mental state really changed, and I started realizing a lot more things about myself. Because once again, I was thinking that in 4 more years, I'll never have to see any of these guys again, and I can leave and start my life over, you know. And the thing about when I got to be 15 and I started tasting more of the outside world outside this boarding school, I started to realize a lot more things. That it was just I only felt horrible when I was around other blind kids like that at this school. When I talked to other teenagers outside of my school, my age, they liked me. They enjoyed talking to me. They enjoyed, speaking with me. I love talking to them because they didn't care. They didn't care that I was totally blind or things that happened when I was a kid. They didn't mind talking to me. They didn't mind having conversations with me. It was like discovering freedom for the first time. And the cycle will repeat as I go back to that blind school. I'm feeling the exact same way, that I wish I wasn't totally blind. I'd be one of the in crowds. I won't be sitting here at a freaking table by myself. But my goal still was set. I was determined to be one of the top academic guys in my graduating class so I can go to college and start my life off anew. So when freshman year of high school started, at that point I'm pretty much totally blind at this particular point. I started officially using a cane, and I used Braille pretty much more and more as the CCTVs just weren't working for me anymore because my vision was just that bad. So I was pretty much totally blind at this point. The issue I was having, though, is obviously in high school work is a lot more intense academically. So, and my reading still sucks. It was not the best. I still cannot read that well anymore. So my school launched a new program, a new technology program, and they brought what's called a Victor Reader. If you guys want to see that particular device, what a Victor Reader is, and how to work it, please post something in the comments below. But they gave me this Victor Reader, and it was like the holy grail for me. It let me do all my work. It recorded all my books, all the notes I needed to take, everything I needed. So with that finally handily in my hand, that's when my grades really finally started to shoot up. I went from D's and C's to A's and B's. And for once, I actually had a response to everyone who thought I was just another blind nobody. I said, if I'm stupid, why am I getting better grades than you? If I'm stupid, why am I blah, 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 getting better grades than you? They would always tell me, do you think grades prove intelligence? They're right in saying, you're right, it doesn't prove intelligence, but it did prove one thing to me. It proved that I cared about my work a lot more than they did, and I cared about my future, what was going to happen to me, a lot more than they did. And that's what grades did define for me. And at least no one could claim that I was stupid, at least not without them hearing my comment, well, I got a better grade than you. So as high school kind of progressed on, more of the same things kind of happened, but I tried building a lot better life for myself. The year I went blind, when I was 15, back in 2012, was actually the year I got my first job. There was this place called the School Store at the campus that I worked at the campus that I went. It was basically like a little convenience shop to where people around campus, staff, students, could come and buy chocolate, chips, candy, soda, anything that they wanted. And it was always around, I always went there as a little kid, even at 10 years old when I went to the school. And I was really good friends with both of the people who worked there and ran there. And they decided to give me a shot and hire me. So they hired me on, and I started to work there at the age of 15. How I would do my work there, I would memorize a lot where everything was. I had this program that my boss put in my Victor Reader that told me where everything was. So I memorized a lot of where everything was with my hands and with my memory. Since I could see before, I visually knew what all these things looked like and the colors and things like that. So when I touched a candy bar, I knew roughly the type of candy bar it should be due to my memory and my previous history of vision. And that's when I also got involved in more clubs around the campus. My family was never into traveling to exotic places. They didn't really have the money for it, and my family was very introverted. None of them ever had like a lot of friends or anything. When I come home on the weekends, I would hate it because my brother would just sit at home all day, not talk to anyone, and I didn't want to meet kids around the neighborhood. But I can't because you're blind, you may get hurt, you can't go without your brother. And that would really irritate me. It would really make me upset. And I couldn't cook or anything at my house, at my dad's house at least, without my brother. And that just burned me up. 15-year-olds hate feeling restricted like that. 15-year-old blind kids who want to show the world what they can do, they hate it even more. But I wound up getting involved in Ski Club, which was this program that goes to Colorado, and you get to go skiing, snowboarding, all this type of great stuff for like a week. And I wound up getting picked for it. I went pretty much every year except for my junior in high school, and I loved it. My dad got angry at me for signing up without his permission, but I didn't do it because my mom said she'd drive me to the airport where we were taking the plane and stuff. And I didn't want his permission anymore. I was tired of being restricted as a teenager. I was tired of not being able to make friends outside without my brother being around. So I need my dad's permission. I need my brother's permission or my mom's permission. This was my life. I was going to make the best life I could as a teenager, despite what everyone was giving me anger-wise right back. So that progressed, and at the age of 15, towards the end of my 9th grade year, I started working. And sophomore year, I continued more of the same, but that was the most brutal year ever for me. That sophomore year is when I developed some major spouts of depression, just from the bullying and teasing I dealt with. Because the thing about it, there was these two kids. I remember his names. It was AJ and Wesley, and a couple of these guys were big rednecks. So not only did they not like blind kids, they're also racist too, like against black kids. Because like one of them actually was in the KKK, like their grandpa was. So I'm dealing with the issue of blindness. Now I got this slight race thing on the side going, which once again, this should sound ridiculous, everyone. This should sound ridiculous. How is there a popularity system at a blind school that's based off of vision if everyone's blind? Let me clarify. These institutions, not everyone at a blind school is totally blind. A lot of them have good, usable vision. So because of this, popularity systems are based off of vision, not the amount of people that are around you and the amount of people who know you or crazy parties and things like that. This system is based off of vision because that stuff cannot happen there. That is what this stuff is based off of. So, sophomore year progressed. I joined the student council because I knew if I wanted to get into a good college, I had to have all these extracurriculars on my roster. And that was my end goal. College. College was my end goal. College was my reaching point. College was the point that was going to set me free from the world, at least from that world I was in. Sophomore year, it got really bad depression-wise, I think, just because probably just because of the amount of just things I was going through. I was dealing with college stuff. Teasing got to be more intense as my grades progressed and things got better for me. Physically, I got a job, I had great grades, and I had one or two people outside the FSDB who would contact me and wouldn't say I was stupid. But it just got more and more intense. It got so bad, whenever I did something wrong in the dorm, because this was the dorm, instead of sending me to my room to punish me, they would actually send me outside of my room to punish me. That's how introverted I got to be. Whenever they said early bed for me, if I did something wrong or disobeyed a staff member for whatever reason, they would give me late bed because I was just that introverted at the school. That's how bad I was when it came to expressing myself. That punishing me would be forcing me to go outside. That would be a punishment for me. But I managed to get through that year thanks to my counselor. I had a counselor named Miss Crozier. She took care of me, she listened to my problems, she was my total school mom. If not for that wonderful staff member, I don't know what would happen to me. Who knows, I might have committed suicide or something. But that staff really loved me, and I loved her too because she saw only the good in me despite what everyone else was saying about me being stupid, me having stinky breath, me not being able to find someone, me not going to be able to make something in my life when I get out of high school. She didn't believe any of that. She truly believed that I was going to do something. And I didn't honestly believe in myself, to be honest, if I want to be straight up with you. I just knew I loved her, and I just knew that eventually getting the grades would get me out of here. But as that year wrapped up, came to a close, I did my usual ski club thing that I told you guys about. It was my release. Ski club was great because I was around other people who liked me, who didn't care that I was blind, who really wanted to know me, you know? They didn't care about what other people said about me. They only cared that, for me. But as I began 11th grade and I started to care a lot more about my college stuff, I faced an issue of the FCAT reading. My reading still sucks. I still have horrible reading skills. So the issue is, how do I get out of high school if I can't pass this reading FCAT? Luckily, the ACT came to the rescue. I took that college placement exam. My reading was horrible, still is, everyone, but my comprehension skills were very good. So when I got the ACT reading read to me, I was able to replace my FCAT scores, and that let me know I'm going to graduate now. It's okay. I'm going to get out of here. I'm on my way of getting out of here. That was the most important thing to me. I wound up picking up a second job in high school. I worked as a recreational assistant for the department as well, for the blind department. I would help out deaf kids and I would help out blind kids. I know it sounds ridiculous, but I would help out deaf and blind kids around the school campus with various activities such as going outside, playing baseball, or just picking up soccer balls. I would help them out. And it was great. 2 jobs, twice the money. It was great. But there was still that yearning inside of me. I wanted to be able to get something back. I wanted my vision back. I wanted something back of the life I once had back when I could see, which wasn't the best life, but at least I had a way of release. So that's when I actually learned about echolocation, a way of seeing with sound, and that piqued my interest. The way I actually wound up learning about this and get connected with this is my dad showed me a video about a guy named Ben Underwood who sadly passed away in 2009 who could do it. And I got very interested. So when I was on a mobility trip one time, I was going to my bank, and a staff member, a guy there who had a son who was blind, he saw I was trying to click as well. He gave me his son's number. He was 37, so he was like around my dad's age at the time. And when I got connected with that young man, that guy connected me to a guy who taught echolocation to young blind kids. So I was ecstatic. I was psyched. I'm gonna be able to get some vision back in some way. Anything's better back than this. I don't want to live in this darkness forever. I want to get something back the life I once had. So I got connected, started talking with him. They were some of the best blind people I've ever talked to in my entire life. At this point, I'll be honest, I was pretty much prejudiced against the blind. I thought they were retarded. I thought they were mean. I thought they were cruel. I didn't think they were worth speaking to. I thought they were just like every other person out in the world, how they're just cruel, mean, and stupid. But when I talked to these guys, they blew me away. The amount of stuff they were able to do, ride bikes, the fact that they lived on their own, they didn't live with their parents, that really impressed me and really blew me away. And they took me out to their camp. This was a camp in, I believe it was Michigan, during August, to teach me this echolocation training. And it was like nothing I ever saw before in my life. I never walked through a whole forest totally blind with blind friends. I never played soccer with other blind people. There's something they would never have done in my blind school ever. They would have never done something like this. And it was such a breath of fresh air to see that there are people out there who are blind who aren't mean, who aren't cruel, who actually will help you out and who aren't going to criticize you because you have less vision than they do. It helped me to see that there's a future maybe in communicating with blind adults as I go into adulthood. Senior in high school, that was 11th grade year. That's when I began to use my echolocation. That's when I basically make a clicking sound and I'm able to tell what's around me. buildings, walls. I use this when I'm going to the library at my college. I use it when I'm trying to identify where a building is, or when someone wants to know about how acute my senses are. Fellow student, fellow colleague. No problem showing. I'm not an expert. I've not had the full-blown training yet. I will hopefully start that as soon as I wrap up college. But senior in high school senior in high school year that began, and that was that was one of my more easier years, I'll say. I mean, in terms of teasing, I didn't deal with as much, but a new problem began, and that was the staff members. A lot of the staff members, my dorm staff didn't like me too much, and I forgot the reason. The reason was because she claimed I was bullying the kids who were teasing me. They claimed I was being disrespectful, that I wasn't listening to the staff, and blah, blah, blah. And they actually almost kicked me out of the dorm 2 months before I actually graduated. And the only reason they did is because I made peace with the staff I was having the biggest issues with. I said, hey, look, I'm going to be gone in the next couple of months. How about I won't bother you too much, you won't bother me too much, as I just wrap up things and get out of here. So we made some type of peace and truce to where I could just, I'll stay out of her way, she stays out of my way, while I just, begin to finish things here. And this was the big year. This was the year I knew everything was going to change. Because what I would tell everyone up until this point, why should I care what you say when you're teasing me? I'm never going to see you again in 4 years. Then it was 3 years. Then it was 2 years. And the response was always, you say that now, but you're going to see lots of people after you get out of high school over and over again. And needless to say, in the end, I was right. But this was the big year. I knew this was the year all my academics mattered. They told me grades didn't improve intelligence. The scholarships committees didn't view it that way. I wanted to leave that horrible nightmare behind and take as much of their money with me as I possibly could, as I began a brand new life just somewhere else in the world, away from these monsters I've been facing for 9 years of my life. I hated St. Augustine. I hated growing up there. I hated the people I was surrounded by. I hated being around blind people who were like this, and I just hated it all. And secretly, I began to resent my parents a little bit. I began to resent them because I feel like they didn't do their jobs. I felt like all they did was, which is what they did, was, hey, here's my kid, you fix him, I'll pick him back up when you're done with him. When we're done with him, then he can come home, because he'll supposedly be normal and all that type of thing. And luckily for them, I was, but they still wanted me to go to other blind trainings. They wanted me to go to some rehab center in Daytona and some other blind stuff, and I didn't want to do that. The only reason why that didn't happen is because they legally couldn't make the decision for me anymore. I was an adult, I was 19, you physically have to deal with this issue now. Now you can't send me away no more. Now you're gonna do your job as a parent and face this issue, or you're just gonna try to send me off and send me away again. Time for you to take responsibility as a parent and actually deal with this issue. And I guess all this resentment built up in me for all the horror I had to endure during those 9 years, because my parents couldn't help me get out of it anymore. I couldn't go back home to deal with it. I had to deal with the same idiots I lived with, which were the same ones teasing me. But I filled out my scholarship applications, got accepted to Valencia State College, and I managed to get a lot of scholarship money when I graduated and left that school. In total, over the years, I'm gonna say about $9,000 in scholarship cash from my high school, which came in handy tremendously during my time in college. So when I finally graduated high school and I actually did the dissertation at my high school class, I had the third best GPA in my class. So I had the privilege of actually saying the prayer to open up the graduation, because I didn't want to walk across the stage, get a diploma, and walk away. I wanted to be remembered for something I did. Despite the nightmare I went through, the teasing, the bullying, the name calling, the not being able to run away from it, I did want to leave my impression there at that school. As the young kid who worked hard, got through it all, changed his life, and now he's doing better. I want to leave some type of impression. And saying the prayer, I think, did give me that impression, did let me leave that impression at that school. So here comes college. College starts out. I graduate May 30th of 2015. I started college August 31st of 2015. Here's the big challenge. Here's college now. I'm not in high school anymore. I'm free. Everyone I knew from high school, they're gone. I will never have to see them again. I moved in with my mom for 7 months because my sophomore year, my dad let me move in with my mother because she lived closer and our dad lived out in Point Siena and there wasn't a lot of opportunities out there. Our mom lived in the city and there's more opportunities out there. So I moved in with her for about 7 months, 6 months. And 3 months later, I started college. But me and my mom had a lot of issues. I didn't really like answering to parents because I never had to answer to parents before. Ever since the age of 10, I always answered to dorm staff or I hung around my friends. I wasn't used to answering to parents. So when my mom would ask me, "Where are you going? Where are you spending your money on? Who are you seeing?" It just got on my nerves because I didn't have to answer to any of that stuff before. I didn't have to deal with that stuff before. So I moved in with her for about 6, 7 months. Then a friend of mine told me about the Orion Apartments. And make a long story short, I wound up moving there December 1st of 2015. So I've accomplished the biggest goals to me at that time were I graduated from high school. I'm a young blind man who lives on his own and takes care of himself. My mom taught me a lot. She taught me how to cook. She let me go out and really do some mobility training because two things between my mother and my father. My dad's fear of what would happen to his blind son if he let me do all that stuff was too great to where he never let me do that stuff. My mom, she didn't have that mentality. She didn't have that same fear mechanism inside her. So whenever I needed to, develop in terms of learning how to cook, learning how to get around my own, she always let me. "Hey, you need to go somewhere? You need a ride? No. You need money? Go. Be gone. Hey, you want to learn how to cook something, son? Sure, come over here. I'll show you how to use a George Foreman. Here. Hey, son, you want to do this? Sure, come here."